Hey y'all, I wanted to hop on and kind of answer the question of which time frame is best because I know this is a huge question as a new trader, and I was always really frustrated because no one really ever seemed to be able to answer this for me. But I'm going to try to answer this for y'all while explaining why this couldn't be answered for me. You'll understand. Let me show you. So first of all, I want to show you the chart that I'm looking at, and the market is live right now. It's moving. So this is a really great example. And I'm zoomed in on the 1 minute chart, and I know a lot of new day traders really love to start on the 1 minute chart, and it's really great to help you really pinpoint entries. If I was trying to enter off of this 5240 level down here, I could really see exactly precisely when that level actually hits and tags me in, which is great. But it also has some disadvantages because it's showing me so many little bitty tiny moves that it can really kind of fake me out of these really much larger moves. And let me just show you an example. So it looks like we have a lot of action today on the ES market. And to tell you the truth, it has not been boring, but if we really take a look at this entire move here, the move that we'd spent most of the day in is from 5240 up to about 5249. Really, this is all within about 10 points. So this is not a massive move. This move looks really big because it's on the 1 minute chart. I very rarely actually watch a 1 minute chart. I do like to watch a lower time frame chart in order to pinpoint these entries like I was just explaining. But the problem with the 1 minute chart is it doesn't really show me the context of what's going on in the market. I need to be able to see where to put my entries, but the context is really important. This looks like it could be a really exciting breakout right now. But what happens is if we zoom out to a higher time frame, and I'll start with the 5 minute, look at how different this looks on the 5 minute. It's a drastically different story. This shows that we've already made a massive move, and these big moves that we were looking at on the 1 minute chart are looking pretty small in relation to this big, large, like kind of aggressive move down that we had earlier. And that makes it look a lot more like consolidation here. This is still a low time frame intraday chart, but it is giving us a lot of context that this is the smaller move of the day already. Like, this is not a big move for what the ES has been able to do today. This is all really important information to have. And I want to be able to watch the 1 minute chart for entries, but I always kind of favor the 5 minute to give me kind of a bigger story of what's going on. This is still a really great chart to watch when the market is just opening and we have a lot of volume and a lot of volatility. It's like all those orders are frantically placed when the New York Stock Exchange opens in the morning. And you can see where that volume is right here. That is a really great time to be watching the lower time frames like the 1 minute and the 5 minute, but you still want to keep in, you need to be able to understand in the big picture what's going on, because that really should help you decide if you're going to take an entry at one of these smaller little levels in here that we were looking at on the 1 minute chart that looked absolutely massive on the 1 minute chart. And I did trade this morning, but the way I planned my trades was, instead of expecting a big massive move off of this because we've already had a massive move, is I just kind of scalped it in this little area down here. Initially I had a larger box drawn on here that I was kind of trading in, but that was really where I was watching for my entries to be on either side of that, my entries, but then also my targets later. And having the 5 minute chart in addition to the 1 minute chart really helped me see that all in context. Although I will tell you, I don't really usually watch the 1 minute chart. I personally favor the 2 minute chart because it's still giving me all of that great little information that I need to pinpoint these entries, but I can still pretty quickly zoom out and get a really nice sense of what's going on. And I still don't get faked out by as many of those tiny little wicks. It's still a really wicky time frame, but it's not as bad. The candles are twice the time as the 1 minute chart, so it does make a big difference. But before I go, I'm going to show you kind of all of the charts that I trade with. You see this on my stream a lot where I have my line chart, which gives me context on what's going on in the other markets as well. And I'll watch the dollar and usually the NASDAQ or something else that I'm keeping an eye on for that day. But here is a look at kind of all of the time frames that I'm watching intraday to really help plan my trades. And I think a lot of people are surprised that I'm actually watching the daily chart while I day trade. But look at how much context this gives me. I can see really, really quickly where we are in relation to the daily macro structure of what's going on in this market. I mostly trade the ES because then I can just be an expert in this market and have a few other things I'll watch when the ES isn't giving me opportunity. But having this sort of setup lets me really, really be an expert in this particular ticker here. And you can really do this with anything. So if you're a NASDAQ trader, you can pull up the NASDAQ, you can keep all of your levels here, and you still have a really, really great look at everything that's going on in the market. So back on ES, since this is where my levels are, I'll kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking at here. So I have the 1 minute where I can plan and fine tune my little exits. I've got the 5 minute where I can see a really good view of kind of the intraday context of what's going on. But I'm always taking a look at the 15 minute too. And I have kind of an experimental indicator going on here right now. It needs to be filtered clearly, but this is something that I'm working on. But the 15 minute, I can get a sense of what's going on between different days. And a lot of time I will zoom out here and I'll look at how trading has been going on over the past few days. I can quickly turn the drawings off if I want to get a good look at it, but I can get a really good sense of how much higher or lower we are than we have been trading over the past few days. I do this a lot. I zoom out for this 15-minute chart to get kind of a sense of what's going on. And when I have this on a bigger screen, it's a little bit easier. I have this shrunken down a little bit, so it's easier to see on YouTube. But when you have this on the bigger screen, of course, you can enlarge it real quickly if you want to too. It really helps give you all of that context. It's just a little bit hard to see with all the levels on there right now, but I do usually keep the levels on. It's just this chart's a little bit bigger. The 1 hour is kind of the same as the 15 minute. I just don't get as many of these little details. It's not a great example right now, but if we'd had some good price action that wasn't just consolidating and then straight down, you'll be able to even see on the 15 minute where some of these support and resistance zones come from. But on the hourly, that's where you can really get a nice broad view of where support and resistance could be just at a glance. And I'll turn my levels on and off on this chart, but you can really I'm not going to go into a full level to level explanation here, but you can really just start to see, like, here's a level right here where price came up to and then had a hard time breaking through, but then found support. And that's kind of where we're back retesting right now. So that's something that I can see really easily and quickly just having this little chart at the bottom of my screen. I do keep my intraday charts bigger because those are the ones I'm actually using to place my trades. But this is what I mean when I'm looking at the context of everything, and I don't want to just limit myself to 1 or 2 little time frames. So I really do have all of this going on. This isn't that much. I can even pull this up on my laptop. So when I'm traveling, this right here is my main charting screen, and then I'll have a trading screen. So I have 2 monitors. I have a travel monitor and then my laptop's main monitor. Otherwise, before I had the travel monitor, I was just using virtual desktops to switch back and forth between these 2 real quick. If I have this chart and my trading, then I'm good to go and I can do whatever I need to do. So this is really, really a great just basic setup. If you're new, you can play with this, modify it as you see fit. That's really what the whole journey of trading is all about, is getting ideas from other traders and then fine tuning them so they really work great for you and you can find your edge in the market. So that is what it's all about. I appreciate you joining me. Here again is this normal chart that you'll see me with a lot of the times. You'll see me zoom in and out a lot. So join me on streams if you want to trade with me. Of course, I've got a lot more if you want to learn as well. And be sure to subscribe because I have a lot more coming. Thanks, y'all. Take care. Love y'all.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.